Hey everyone, Bitcoin is touching 20,000 today, all-time high. As always, every video I'm doing right now starts with another all-time high for Bitcoin. There are a few too many folks as well coming in December, so stay tuned to find out more. Okay, so the last few days were really intense for Bitcoin. The price went really skyrocketing, and first it was 12k, then it was 13, then it was 14, 15. Here we see some of the mainstream media really picked up on Bitcoin now that it surpassed the 10k and it didn't fall down. We had a tiny bit of correction, but it didn't really stay down. So now we're seeing Mashable, which is a really mainstream blog that with the young generation and people who are current, stay current with the news of what's happening in the world. Also we saw Reuters and CNBC and a few other media outlets that are reporting on Bitcoin now that a lot of exchanges and some of the Wall Street exchanges are starting to trade Bitcoin futures and everything. That's really changing the game. We are seeing that the price is really racing to touch the 20k, and it almost did today. This is a screenshot from Coinbase. It's no longer there. Of course, it couldn't really stay there. That was just an attempt. I'm pretty sure that very soon we're going to see it testing these highs again. Right now it's sitting at around $17,500. This is also on Coinbase. But earlier it went all the way up to 19,700. So very close to 20k. And this is a target. 20k is a target for many whales who are already on the sell button. There will be a lot of selling happening when it gets to the 20k. So it will definitely retract from there. It will definitely have a dip after that. And I think it's also going to take a bit of a push to get to the 20k. But I think right now the purpose for many people, traders, is to get to 20k and sell close to some positions before Christmas. So that is very possibly what's going to happen. Definitely after that it will be pulling back, and because of that rapid growth, this is really rapid. I've been saying that for a few videos now. It really just keeps going up too soon, too quick. It means that the retraction will be strong, and hopefully it will come down to the 12,000s. I think around 11,000 is definitely a strong support. 10,000 is going to be a very strong support, but I don't even think it's going to go all the way down to 12, to be honest. Possibly around 13, 14 or something like that. We're going to see. I mean, right now we're in the stage of total FOMO, fear of missing out. This is what's happening around the world. Everyone has just, found out about Bitcoin. Many people who knew about Bitcoin but thought that they didn't really understand it or something are taking more interest and finding out more. So now there are more people adopting Bitcoin and putting some funds in there. We're seeing a super high growth of the whole market, the whole crypto market. The total market cap of the crypto, all of the cryptocurrencies is $444 billion. Right now, this is absurd. I mean, just a week ago we were at 350 billion, and we've added another 100 billion in a matter of a week. 2 weeks ago we were under 300 billion. Right now Bitcoin alone is valued at the market cap of Bitcoin alone is close to 300 billion. That was the whole cryptocurrency market just a week ago. And we see that a lot of the money is now going into Bitcoin because the price is going so much that everyone is exiting from altcoins and they're switching to Bitcoin again. We're seeing the dominance of Bitcoin is over 67%. Recently it was 61. I think for a moment it went below 60 even, which makes sense. 67% is also, I mean, often it's been at 67, 70, 72% even. So that's not really surprising me, but it is better for the altcoins, and for someone who is already invested in altcoins. I have spread my portfolio into quite a few of them, so for me it's better to see a slightly weaker dominance of Bitcoin, which means that a lot of the money in crypto will be going into alts, and right now all of the alts are on red. Not all of them, but most of them. them are on the red. We are seeing that today the market is more red than green, which is expected because of you know, the heavy jump of Bitcoin which we've experienced in the last few days. Let's talk about the forks. There are a few of them, in fact, that are coming. I found this website earlier and I'm gonna share it with you. Links below the video. They talk about a few forks. Some of them I didn't even know about. I didn't really see them on the calendars. I'm using a couple of websites. One is, sorry, let me find it. One is this one here, coins.th, and here you can see a lot of crypto events listed, including forks. So if you see something with red, let me just scroll up. Here we're seeing a red one. This is the Ethereum Classic hard fork, which is on the 12th of December. It's an upgrade basically, so it's not really anything that you have to worry about. There is a Super Bitcoin, which is on the 17th of December, so I already reported about this one. We talk about it. I don't really think it's going to be anything too important, and I'm not really seeing any other ones here. This is another website. It's called coincalendar.info. I'm not really seeing any of the other ones here, but there is a website that reports on them. And apart from the Super Bitcoin, there is also Bitcoin Platinum. I'm not surprised. There's also Cash Plus, Bitcoin Cash Plus, Bitcoin Silver, Bitcoin Uranium, and Bitcoin Gold. So let's quickly go through this. Bitcoin, Super Bitcoin is the first one. I already mentioned it in my previous video. There's still not much of an update on this fork. It's you know, the same information that we've already seen, and then that's pretty much it. We know that they will have bigger block size. They will have the Lightning Network, which is coming to Bitcoin next year anyway. They will add smart contracts and zero knowledge proof. So pretty much everything that you would want in a coin is going to be featured here in Super Bitcoin. That's why they call it Super Bitcoin. And in fact, as an idea, sounds like something amazing, right? But we know that with forks, they cannot really have the same value as Bitcoin because they don't have the same ecosystem. They haven't built the same infrastructure as Bitcoin. They don't have the usability and the, you know, there's just no point. None of these forks are really going to have the value of Bitcoin. They will be providing something that might be better for, you know, for certain usage, but Bitcoin as a store of value cannot be beaten by a fork like that. The only threat for Bitcoin is really Bitcoin Cash, but currently even Bitcoin Cash is not doing that well, and we can see that it's gone down all the way to, you know, to quite a lower level from before all of the pumps. It is now trading at $1,200, but it's 0.073 BTC, and you know, at its height it reached 0.40. You know, it was close to becoming half a Bitcoin. So whoever managed to sell during these pumps, good for you guys, because right now you can buy it cheaper. I think that there will be more pumps from Bitcoin Cash. Definitely they're not gonna let it just go down like that. And Bitcoin Cash is actually immediate transactions. I did quite a few transactions in the last few days with Bitcoin Cash. I was just moving it from one exchange to another, and these transactions were super fast. So yes, definitely Bitcoin Cash, it has usability factor, but it doesn't have the popularity factor yet, and the community behind Bitcoin is definitely not in favor of Bitcoin Cash because they did a really dirty campaign trying to beat Bitcoin. I think they should learn a lesson. You shouldn't really be competing with Bitcoin. You should try to just do your own thing, like Dash, like Ethereum. I mean, Bitcoin Cash has the ability to be what Dash is doing if they want. They have certainly they have the capital and the marketing skills to compete in that regard, but not necessarily against Bitcoin. So anyway, this is just something that I wanted to mention. It's not very important. Back to the forks. Bitcoin Platinum is another fork, and it's yet another fork that is trying to decentralize Bitcoin. It is supposed to happen around the 20th of December, and unfortunately I can't really understand much on their website, so I can't really translate that page and give you much information. So I'm not even sure if that is Korean or what is it. It doesn't look like Chinese to me, but they have a video here that judging by the video alone, I can tell you that this fork, you shouldn't even look at it. Let's just play just a tiny bit of it, right? I mean, seriously, if this is the quality of the project and this is the taste, I'm not even sure if I want to find out any more about this fork. Now there is Bitcoin Cash Plus, and again, not much information. This is a fork that is scheduled for the 2nd of January. So we're going to see if that is going to be the date or is that going to change. There is a little bit of information here about decentralization and all of that, you know, the general stuff, the very standard things that we are seeing these days in all kinds of forks and attempts for upgrades. No information about nodes or wallets that will be using this, accepting this coin. No information about the team behind it. So not so much. Bitcoin Silver is another attempt for a fork. This currently doesn't even have a website, it's still just a forum. So all of the links are below the video, you can grab them and have a look to find out more. I'm not finding enough information to even report properly on these guys, so I'm only just listing them here just to bring them to your attention. If you are someone who is very keen on taking advantage of these forks, you need to go and find out more. I don't think I'm going to be following these forks because they're becoming way too many, and there's no point really. I mean, I covered extensively Bitcoin Gold, and we are seeing that even to this day, Bitcoin Gold is not yet fully functional, fully operating properly. I mean, some of the exchanges have already done the distribution. I managed to get my Bitcoin Gold from Bitfinex and from Bittrex. I also managed to get it from Coinomi, and I moved it already to Bitfinex, so I'm trading it. But my example wallet, for instance, where I had the majority of them, is still not releasing the coins because they're still obviously not satisfied with the replay protection or something. So it's not yet 100% Bitcoin Gold, and this was one of the recent forks that I covered because I thought that there is a lot of interest. A lot of people were asking me about the fork, but now we are seeing that, as I knew, it's not exactly a very profitable or very successful fork. Nevertheless, it's doing well. It's around $250 at the moment, a little bit down. It used to be $350 a couple of weeks ago, even $400 at some point. So, but it's still hanging there, and it's still trying to improve. So I know that the team behind it are actually dedicated. So hopefully something more will happen there. But Bitcoin Uranium, another one that is just a forum here, and it's coming on the 31st of December. That's pretty much everything that I know about it. Everything here is, we're working on it, so it's still under construction, meaning there is not much information about this coin either. There is Cointelegraph here reporting on Bitcoin God. This is a fork that's supposed to be forking on Christmas, so that will be Christmas Day. So that's another fork that is just a joke, just another attempt of someone making a bit of extra cash by forking the blockchain. I don't really think that I will be following that either. So this is pretty much everything about the forks. It's too many forks. I knew it in my previous video, or maybe a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned that now we're going to see more and more forks happening because people are trying to cash in on the Bitcoin brand. These are not forks that are really bringing any kind of groundbreaking innovation or anything really that different. They're not even different projects. They're not trying to solve any major problems. What they're trying to do is create a bit of extra coins so that hopefully with people being interested because of the Bitcoin name, that value of their coin will go up and they will be able to dump it on the exchanges, make some extra money, because clearly the people who are doing these projects are going to be the people who will have the majority of these coins. So a lot of this will be pre-mined to, you know, a certain amount of them will be pre-mined, not all of them, but some of them. There's Bitcoin Diamond was pre-mined, Super Bitcoin would have some, I forgot what was it, but there would be something pre-mined as well. So yes, they are pre-mining 210,000 of them. So, and this would be to support the project, to support their foundation, people who are running the foundation. I don't really know how much of it is going to be supporting just themselves and how much is going to really support any kind of innovation and investments in the projects, but that's how it goes with these things. Everyone these days can make their own fork, everyone can make their own coin. This is why it's very important to be staying in you know, up to date with the news, and you should really know what's going on, because you don't really want to be jumping into coins and things that are going to be worth nothing in a few months or a year's time. And the same goes for the altcoins. There's a lot of altcoins that are really not doing great anymore, and a lot of projects got abandoned. Naut, for instance, is one of them. Naut got really delisted from Poloniex, and it's really not doing anything these days. People who invested in Naut were taken quite aback from the fact that one of their main developers passed away, or at least that's what it was said on their Twitter, and the project just went down. So it's this easy for one of these coins, any of these coins in fact, to go down purely because one of the main people who are behind the project, maybe the main person behind the project, can just disappear. You know, something can happen to them, or they might just decide to move on to something else, and that project can quickly dissolve. Because let's not forget, these are projects that are often started by a couple of people, a couple of friends, like-minded individuals who had an idea, who are quite enthusiastic and determined and inspired, and they want to go for it and do it. And after a few months or a year or something, if it's not really going the way they want, or if they make a lot of money and they're no longer interested in the project, they're already sorted, they can just dump it. They can really just exit from that project and it can dissolve. So don't really invest long term in any of the alternative coins. This is my advice. I have spread my capital around a lot of these, but I'm actually trading them. So I'm not really holding any of these for more than a few months. And this is pretty much my long term. With altcoins, few months is long term. With Bitcoin, few years is long term. But with altcoins, not really. Unless it's something like Ethereum and Dash and you know, Ripple and Litecoin, you know, the top 10, you can probably invest longer term. Bitcoin Gold is in fact in the top 10, surprisingly, even though it's so young and we don't really know much about it yet. But yeah, the top 7, 8, top 10 are the ones that you can be a bit safer to put some money for longer term, but don't really do anything that is too unknown yet. Just if you are investing in ICOs, especially, I'm going to do a separate video about ICOs and explain a little bit more about them. You have to be very, very careful what kind of an ICO it is, who is behind it, do you know these people, what do you know about them, how much of a public profile they have, you know, what is online about them, are they known people, because you don't really want someone who might disappear tomorrow. That happens a lot. Anyway, these are all of the news right now. This is what's happening with Bitcoin and the crypto market at the moment. It is really entering the mainstream media everywhere. News channels on TV and online are reporting about Bitcoin almost on a daily basis now, which is great because this is when everyone starts coming in. And if you are one of the early adopters, if you're one of the people who've been following me and got involved with Bitcoin early on, you're probably already really happy and getting some really good profits. Bitcoin is creating millionaires every day. Okay, so that's everything for today's webisode of Bitcoin Simplified. I'm gonna be back next week to give you more updates and news about Bitcoin. In the meantime, with Bitcoin going up so much in value, make sure that you get one of these. This is the Nano Ledger S. This is my favorite device, mainly because it's so compact. I mean, there are a few devices that are really safe and secure on the market, but this is the one. I have two of them actually. Because with Bitcoin being so expensive, you don't really want to risk it, and you don't really want to have it just sitting in cloud storage. So this is what you need to get, is this small, like a USB. And you can store here more than just Bitcoin. But definitely, if you have more than one Bitcoin, with the price that Bitcoin is today, it should go into a device like that and offline, not really stored in a cloud storage, anything like you know, the online wallets that most people are using. These are not really safe because they get attacked. There's a lot of hacking attacks on blockchain, on Coinbase, Xapo. You know, all of the main wallets, they get attacked a lot, and sometimes these attacks could be quite bad. So exchanges as well, exchanges are even worse. They're even less secure. So definitely store your coins somewhere in a safe place. I have a link below the video for the Ledger Nano S, and I also did a video where I am showing you the setup. I'm actually going to do a new video with the new device because it's not really going to be much different, but there are more coins added to Ledger, so I need to do an update anyway, so watch out for this one. I'm gonna post a video of how to set it up and how to get started with the Ledger Nano S. In the meantime, you can order yours from the link below the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna be back next week with another update.